Few weapons on the 21st century battlefield are as effective as the modern sniper.
On any battlefield, a proficient sniper's got the capability to change the tide of that battle.
Now fielded by every branch of the U.S. Armed Forces, from the Army to the Marines, Coast Guard, and Navy, these elite warriors continue to prove their value in modern conflicts.
No shot is the same shot, so you have to be prepared for every shot.
This four-part series looks at how the role of the sniper, their tactics and technology are changing to effectively combat everything from insurgents to smugglers and tribal warlords.
You can't just stamp out a sniper.
These professionals are highly trained, infinitely adaptable, and frighteningly lethal. They are today's modern sniper. The modern Army sniper is the result of over 200 years of battlefield evolution. But sniping today is changing like never before. Army snipers are fighting on an increasingly technologically advanced battlefield that has required them to modify their tools, tactics, and techniques to be effective in any theater, from the streets of Baghdad to the mountains of Tora Bora. These 2 to 8-man teams combine the ability to provide key intelligence to command with the capacity to surgically eliminate the enemy with either precision rifle fire or by directing the wrath of U.S. shock and awe. The key to supremacy on the modern battlefield is flexibility. The U.S. Army has designed a sophisticated training program for snipers that allows them to quickly adopt new tactics to match the enemy.
What we're finding is downrange in country, in both areas of operation, that our adversary is evolving. So as we find out what TTPs the enemy is utilizing in theater now, we immediately push that to the front of our training. Then we discuss how to counter it.
In the Second World War and Vietnam, the sniper was confined to a more static standoff role. But experience in the Middle East has shown that sniper teams are just as successful as a mobile close-in tool.
First of all, we are never complacent. We are always looking for ways to improve how we train. We're always looking for ways to make our product, which is a trained sniper, to be the best trained and the best, most capable precision marksman possible.
Snipers are definitely they're going to see stuff that other guys may not see because we train ourselves to observe for target indicators, guys holding weapons, guys acting shady, and that's going to allow us to pinpoint the enemy a whole lot faster than the average guy on the ground.
Each year, the Sniper School accepts 320 students to attend the rigorous 5-week course. Acceptable candidates must meet stringent mental, physical, and marksmanship requirements before being selected. They are the best and the brightest in the Army, but not all will graduate as snipers.
We only get 250 odd students through a year, whereas at Ranger School down the road, they get 200 students every 3 to 4 weeks. So we're a very centralized, very small community in the Army.
With the tremendous success of snipers in current conflicts, this small community is receiving pressure to expand and produce more snipers. However, this is a difficult task.
You can't just stamp out a sniper. It takes time, it takes training, it takes diligence, it takes perseverance, it takes a number of things, none of which can be mass-produced.
And that's the biggest challenge that us as a schoolhouse has to face to try and fill the Army's needs for snipers.
Another major challenge the Sniper School is facing is the lack of knowledge from commanders in the field on how to employ snipers effectively. To remedy this, the Sniper School began a program training battlefield leaders on how best to utilize their snipers.
We're getting this knowledge out there, and that was the biggest base that we were seeing was the disconnect between the sniper and his commander. So now that we have the Sniper Employment Leaders course, we're able to train commanders all the way up to battalion level on how to employ this asset that they have.
This is how you need to employ your snipers. We show them new equipment that's available to the snipers and how it's going to enhance their capabilities at unit level.
To better understand the capabilities of the snipers under their command, the leaders are given an opportunity to try the sniper's most prized piece of equipment, the sniper rifle.
World War I, World War II, you're simply taking the weapon that is being issued to the soldier,
sometimes just putting a telescopic sight on it. Today, every aspect of the development of a particular sniper rifle, extensively researched. What is being fielded today is by far the best that the military can produce and equip the American soldier with.
This is the M24 sniper weapon system. Uses the 7.62 NATO cartridge, and it has a free-floating match-grade barrel.
The M24 is a battle-proven system. It is a great weapon system that has been employed by the U.S. Army probably for the last 20 years. It really stood the test of time. It is still a devastating weapon system as long as it's in the hands of a well-trained sniper.
Teaching these sniper school students to master the M24 are some of the best instructors in the world. They all have had extensive combat experience and share their first-hand knowledge to help prepare their students.
And we have a set standard that we have to teach, but at the same time, there's always room in there where the instructors can interject personal experience.
45 seconds. Go ahead and unholster your weapon. A lot of the newer instructors that we're getting are coming right out of theater within the last 6-8 months.
The survivability of the snipers have increased because you've had so many more people go to combat, come back, and train up your troops. You want to give these students the maximum amount of stuff that you can because they're going down range. And you've been in their shoes, and if you can provide them with the most amount of information that you can, that's worthwhile.
These instructors themselves also need to keep their skills up to date, so when not teaching students, they spend their time training and evaluating new equipment and tactics.
I can identify deficiencies from past experiences and exploit that in the courses, so that way we make it aware to our students now, because if you're not a student of history, and you don't learn from the mistakes of the past, you're going to be doomed to repeat them again in the future.
This commitment to continuously update training with lessons learned from snipers in the field is a key component to the extraordinary success of the Army Sniper School. But there is one essential skill that the instructors cannot teach.
Bottom line is, will you pull the trigger when the time comes?
I mean, I have had to fire on people, and it's a very me versus them. If it's not me, it's, or if it's not them, it's going to be me or my buddies.
And that's the hardest part of being a sniper, is when the first time you crawl into your shooting position, you look through that optic and you see the individual you're about to reduce. And as long as you can maintain your objectivity and the overall big picture as to why you're doing what you're doing, you'll be fine.
Do I ever want to, do I ever plan on going out and killing somebody? No, I don't. But I can justify the fact that if I take this guy out or eliminate this target, then, possibly I've saved some lives.
Coming up on Modern Sniper Army, Urban Combat.
The good thing about being in urban areas is you have a lot more places to hide.
If we can reduce the size of that loophole, it makes it more difficult to detect where the sniper was firing from.
And later, mastering the awesome power of the 50 cal.
You definitely want a weapon system that'll reach out there and touch somebody.
The focus of modern sniping tactics is constantly shifting to meet the challenges of current combat operations. With the urban landscape becoming a common battleground for U.S. forces, much of the U.S. Army sniper training is being molded to handle threats in this environment.
We've been in sustained combat operations now for the last 7 years, both in Afghanistan and for the last 6+ years in Iraq. And most of our engagements are not in an open rural area, if you will. Most of our engagements have been in an urban area. So the sniper has to adapt his ability to move, his ability to occupy a position, his ability to remain in position to accomplish his mission.
Operation Iraqi Freedom and Operation Enduring Freedom, these are not conventional fights at all. This is guerrilla warfare. This is insurgency warfare.
The urban environment presents a remarkable set of challenges for the modern warrior. But to prepare for the concrete jungle, lessons learned from conflicts in tropical jungles can be valuable to today's snipers.
In an urban environment, you could round a street corner and there's the bad guy. So it's that closeness to where you could encounter them at any moment that is common in both a jungle and an urban environment.
Unlike the jungles of Vietnam, the urban environment does not offer the concealment of foliage. The urban sniper must use the dark alleys and the cover of night to effectively enter an urban hide undetected. Along the way, he is constantly facing the potential for detection by non-combatants or close-range engagements with the enemy.
You have to be a lot more stealth, you have to move a lot slower, you got to have your senses more in tune because there's a lot more civilians on the battlefield, so you have to be very careful and meticulous with your actions and your movements and everything you do, everything.
You got eyes on? Yeah. He's on the roof. You okay? Yeah. He's on the roof.
One of the greatest challenges for snipers in urban environments is protecting themselves in the close-quarter battle zones of buildings while they seek an acceptable hide.
Every infantryman that ever comes into the Army, and pretty much every soldier that's in the Army knows how to rudimentarily, enter and clear a house. If you've got a 4 to 5 man security element with you, you can send them in first and they can clear the house because they're more set up to do that. And once they've cleared the house, then you can come in behind them and set up everything.
Increasingly, sniper teams are having to do this security work for themselves, and that has forced the development of new weapons.
This is the M110 semi-automatic sniper weapon system.
It's a totally new sniper system. That would be my choice for a primary mission in an urban environment. It gives me the semi-automatic capabilities to engage multiple targets at varying ranges without having to reload after 5 rounds.
Multiple rapid engagements inside an urban area, it's perfect.
It's definitely not a replacement for bolt action. It will never be as accurate as the M24s, but I think it's a good addition to a team.
Bolt gun, you get 1 round on. SAS, just squeeze like you would clear ring your M4, no big deal, too easy. So the advantages is just huge. It's just leaps and bounds.
It's not just security and weapons that have been forced to change. The traditional concept of a sniper hide has also had to evolve for urban combat applications. These positions deep within buildings provide critical vantage points to observe enemy movement and engage when necessary.
The good thing about being in an urban area is you have a lot more places to hide. If there's not too many civilians on the battlefield, that's the thing that's hard to work with, is because they can ruin a lot of good hiding spots.
So you try not to get into an occupied building if at all possible. One, because it creates a security risk for you, because if you occupy a house that has people living in it and the guy goes to work every morning at 5 o'clock, typically you don't want him to leave because you're afraid that he might go tell insurgent groups that you're in his house. So you lock him down. And then he doesn't go to work the next morning and his neighbor gets all wanting to see what's going on, so he comes over to the house and now you've got to take him into the house. So the act of actually getting into a house that's occupied is kind of frowned upon.
Once in an urban hide, the sniper team must carefully prepare an undetectable firing position.
You're going to have some standoff. You're not going to be the Hollywood sniper in front of the window with the barrel sticking out.
Big thing we teach is, urban room hides and stuff like that. And that's just going to be utilizing shadows in an urban environment, utilizing glass, utilizing sheets, utilizing screens, whatever we need to make ourselves disappear in the environment.
You can use some sort of like a cheesecloth or some sort of camo net and put it at the roof and angle it in such a way so that if someone's looking up at you or into the window, they're just going to see dark.
Getting these simple details wrong in combat could be deadly.
All right, change out your shooters.
For the sniper school instructors to maintain their edge while away from the front line, they conduct simulated combat scenarios, including one of the most dangerous, the counter-sniper mission.
The last thing you want to do is get in a sniper-on-sniper duel, especially with somebody that's been doing it a lot longer than you have. One of the problems with countering a sniper is it's his backyard, it's his terrain, he knows what's going on.
This scenario replicates the common need for a sniper team to eliminate an enemy sniper that has an entire squad pinned down. It is up to the sniper team to stealthily target the enemy from a concealed firing position without being spotted and taking fire themselves. For realism, a highly experienced instructor will be looking for any sign of their location by watching for what are known as target indicators.
For instance, if he's wearing a light-colored shirt and the background is dark, and or vice versa, movement, that type of movement gets picked up pretty quick. Just moving quickly, expeditiously, can be seen. If something doesn't look like it belongs, it probably doesn't.
Pull me up to where you want.
The biggest mistake is that they won't. The person trying to infiltrate the building won't take into account the light coming in from behind or from the side, and it pretty much silhouettes the body, and that gets picked up. That type of movement gets picked up pretty quick. Hey, I have a target indicator in Bravo 3.
Hey, off glass, he's got you.
What do you get?
Scope. Shot that scope, they got lights coming. Yeah, right in through there. Burn it.
It's 100 mile an hour taking to
We'll just shoot the scope. Gap closed.
In this case, the difference between success and failure comes down to a couple of cents worth of tape. Fortunately, they have remembered the other common mistake of sniper teams, the value of staying deep within the building to mask the audible location of the shot. With various doors and windows, the building, in effect, acts to redirect the sound of the gunshot so that an enemy downrange will have difficulty pinpointing their position.
See inside?
Hey, it's pretty apparent these guys are learning from their past mistakes.
This exercise has taught these sniper school instructors a valuable training lesson that they can take back to combat and that could someday save their lives. To enhance the effectiveness of these tactics, a new ballistic formula is being taught that allows the sniper to make an accurate shot through a small loophole from a great distance. The exact formula is top secret and cannot be revealed, but it offers the ability for an Army sniper to take a shot on a key target without jeopardizing his location.
The ballistic loophole is a concept that we've been working with now. It allows the sniper to remain concealed, but to be able to engage targets at a certain range by using a smaller loophole. The loophole is a small aperture or small area that a sniper shoots through to engage targets. If we can reduce the size of that loophole, then it helps conceal the position of the sniper, makes it more difficult to detect where the sniper was firing from.
The cardboard sheet represents a concrete wall of a building. The hole being fired through is only slightly larger than the bullet itself. But the new tactic has its dangers. Get the shot wrong, and the bullet will contact the edges of the hole, making the sniper's position obvious and cause a miss on the target.
You rip a shot out, and you're not aware of what else is around the area, and someone sees your position, and you just gave away your position. And you may have killed an enemy, but then you might have killed yourself or your team.
With the aiming point and the target is won, the sniper carefully squeezes the trigger. The round is passed perfectly through the narrow loophole and hits the target. An amazing feat that will someday be routine for the modern Army sniper. Coming up on Modern Sniper Army.
The technological advances have really increased the effectiveness of the sniper.
Equipment that's available now wasn't even thought of 10 years ago.
We're producing smarter snipers.
Technology has always shaped the face of modern warfare, but for the sniper, these technological advances now come with unprecedented speed.
For hundreds of years, a well-made rifle with effective sights and a lot of practice have gone a long way on the battlefield. But what has happened here in the last generation, you've seen computers and satellite technology come into play.
The technological advances have really increased the effectiveness of the sniper.
Equipment that's available now wasn't even thought of 10 years ago.
From lasers to night vision, the tools snipers are currently trained to use make them faster and more lethal.
Getting those and getting re-familiar with stuff that you didn't grow up using in a section, and now you as a team leader, I have to be proficient enough to train my men on the system capabilities and stuff like that.
Some of our younger students that come through the course are more technologically savvy than some of the instructors.
We're producing smarter snipers as far as being able to utilize the technology and apply it to our job function.
These technological advances continue to give Army snipers the edge over the opposition. And perhaps the most significant technological revolution has been the development and refinement of night vision. It allows snipers to observe the enemy while remaining concealed in the darkness and maintain the ability to eliminate targets if necessary.
90% of the missions we do, revolve around nighttime. With limited capabilities, we're no good. Like, we can do a job, but we can be a whole lot better with the advancement of thermals and night vision.
The modern Army sniper generally employs two types of night vision optics. The older of the two is the PVS-10, and although it represents technology of the past, it's still in use throughout the sniping community today.
A lot of units still have them. I know I had them in my unit. They're heavy. They are getting old, and there's problems with them. One of the most recent ones that we have would be the PVS-26 or the PVS-29 now. They've changed the name for it. It mounts in front of your day optic, so you don't need to re-zero your rifle.
The PVS-29 uses third-generation night vision to give snipers a crystal-clear view out to several hundred meters, even on near-moonless nights. The greatest advantage of the new system is that it is lightweight and can be easily carried by a sniper and added in front of his day scope.
The PVS-26 has greatly increased a sniper's night capability.
You can have it in your rucksack, pull it out while you're out on mission, slap it down in front of your scope, and you're good.
While technology has greatly increased a sniper's ability to see his enemy in any light condition, new developments are also helping snipers determine the exact distance to the threat. For most of the 20th century, the technique for determining the distance to the target has been the mil-dot relation formula.
First column is going to be the target number, okay?
Reference points within a scope are used together with a complex formula to estimate the distance to the target.
Go ahead and write it down for your eyes. I want you to go ahead and look through your scope, then look at it with your naked eye and determine the range of that target, okay?
While this is still a skill that every sniper must master, it is a time-consuming process.
Constant and get the range of that target.
And to help speed it up, the snipers today have a tool that can help give an accurate range to a target in under a second.
What we have here is the AN PSQ-23 Storm, a weapon-mountable laser rangefinder. It contains 5 different lasers on it.
From visible laser to invisible laser to invisible floodlights it also actually has a rangefinder function on it.
Just another tool in their bag to be able to accurately estimate the range to their targets without having to use the basic mil relation formula.
Throw so many more capabilities into one tool, which is very helpful.
Although we can range estimate with the mil-dot relation, this is a very essential piece of equipment.
Just looking through our optic, we zero it to it, hit the button, tells us the range.
It enhances their abilities to immediately identify a target, immediately know the range to the target, and identify at that point in time whether or not they can make that engagement.
Move the next target.
While the laser rangefinder can help the sniper determine the distance to the target, there are still many variables such as wind speed, temperature, humidity, altitude, and even the rotation of the Earth that must be calculated to make long-range shots. These complex calculations can take months of training to fully understand and minutes of calculations in the field to figure out the correct scope adjustments to make a shot.
Send it.
Today, snipers can utilize software on any PDA to solve these problems in seconds.
Basically, the snipers will have a calculator or a ballistic computer. Now, in the ballistic computer, you will actually have a program that actually gives you a spot to plug in the size of the target and what you estimate the mil, and then all you have to do is hit done, and it already gives you a hold. It tells you the distance, and it gives you a hold for the target.
These ballistic calculators can compute all known variables into what is called a firing solution.
That's really been a turning point in the sniper community, because now basically the sniper can sit down and have a ballistic computer, no matter what environment he's working in. The questions that he would ask before, or maybe have to know off the top of his head, he can just reference back to his computer now. And it basically makes your average sniper a great sniper at this point.
Of course, no matter how advanced sniper equipment becomes, it is crucial that every sniper master and maintain the basic skills, because all technology can fail.
Technology is always great to enhance your skills, but not to replace any.
A lot of times the individual soldier become dependent on that equipment, and if that equipment should become damaged or should become inoperative in any way, then you have to revert back to the basic skills.
Because I've had lots of situations where it got too hot in Iraq, the sun was too bright, and the sand was making my laser rangefinder not work at all. I wasn't getting any kind of good readings.
A little wind meter is great for reading wind at your location, but it's not going to give you the wind, you know, halfway to 2/3 of the way to the target, which is where we tell you that wind has the greatest effect on your bullet before it reaches the target.
I'm an old school sniper. We didn't have all the cool laser range finders and all that good stuff that we've got out now. But from the time I was a sniper, we relied, you know, on the skills you learn here in sniper school. A lot of these new high-speed technologies that we're using, I think, is going to really benefit the soldier out there as a sniper. They'll be able to see things further faster and get data quicker. But we still need to teach them the basic skills.
-3.5.
Otherwise, if that stuff runs on batteries and satellite and everything else, if it goes down, they need to know how to snap back to using those binos or just using the basic skills they learned here at sniper school.
To stay proficient on the basics, the sniper school instructors hold periodic competitions amongst themselves. Today, the instructors are setting up a complex battlefield scenario depicting the intense circumstance of repelling a large-scale attack.
Send it.
A sniper's role when he is called in to defend a position is to eliminate as many key enemy personnel as quickly as possible.
It's limited visibility. This is right now at about 200 meters. We have another one set up in front of that truck right there. You should see in the bush. It's a little bit more realistic. Most of the time on unknown distance ranges, you have targets that are fully exposed. In reality, a lot of times you're going to have partially exposed targets.
All right, what we're going to do today, we're going to do target detection shoot. Basically, we're going to lay down. It's going to be a competition for us instructors. We'll partner up. Once we get partnered up, then we're going to lay down with our guns. No dope on the guns at all. No dope on the range. Whoever has the fastest time with the least amount of rounds is the winner for the day.
These instructors have varying degrees of experience working with each other in sniper spotter teams. But the fundamentals of their training take over and help them work efficiently as a team to detect and take out targets.
We went out there with no dope on the gun, no dope on the range. It was a new range to us. We chose the SAS because everybody else was using the M24, and the targets were no further than 400 meters, and that's kind of what this weapon was made for, closer range targets.
Send it.
Ready?
Ready.
Nailed it. Where's the next target?
Where's the next target?
Next target is off to the left.
Target detection is a key element of sniper teams working together. One thing that sniper teams have to do is establish an effective dialogue.
Elevation?
Elevation, set it at 2 even.
The ability to communicate effectively and consistently in a short period of time.
175.
All right.
I'm going to say 175 at -3.4.
The spotter will just tell me where I should hold my crosshairs, depending on the distance and the wind. You know, if it's at 200, 250 meters, he'll say hold 0.5 mils high, right shoulder.
You're going to go 1 tree, 2 trees, 3 trees, 4 trees, 5 trees to the right. You're going to see a white man-type target with the hostage on the left-hand side.
Russian way, huh? Shoot to the hostage.
Come up 6 mils.
Next target. Okay, eyes on?
Eyes on it?
Yep.
Elevation. Elevation 3+2. Send it when ready.
Send it.
After all the teams have fired their rounds, it is the highly experienced team of Sergeant First Class Artman and Staff Sergeant Brady who eliminated their targets in the fastest time and have won the instructor challenge. Their prize is a slap on the back and the knowledge that they are better prepared to return to the front lines when that day comes. Coming up on Modern Sniper Army, new threats and devastating solutions.
We have to be able to reduce that target, i.e. the driver.
We're looking for the effects of what the bullet's doing after it passes through the glass.
If you were wanting to disable a vehicle, shooting in the motor, you're going to tear it up.
The modern Army sniper faces a whole range of new threats. Chief amongst those, vehicles driven by suicidal combatants and filled with explosives. These car bombs, known as Vehicle-Borne Improvised Explosive Devices, or VBIEDs, have caused hundreds of casualties. To help reduce this growing threat, modern Army snipers utilize new tactics and weapons to stop the vehicles before they reach their intended target.
Say you're overwatching a traffic control point, and you have an individual that's approaching the traffic control point, and they refuse to heed warnings. That's going to tell you that there's something about to happen, either a VBIED or something along those lines. How do you stop that vehicle from forward movement if you don't have a rifle that will take out the vehicle? Well, you have to be able to reduce that target, i.e. the driver. Well, in order to do that, you need to know how that bullet's going to function when it penetrates the windshield. Is it still going to maintain enough integrity to reduce the target? Is it still going to maintain its trajectory to achieve point of aim, point of impact?
All right, hey, right now we're gonna engage targets through glass at a distance of 220 yards. We're looking for the effects of what the bullet's doing after it passes through the glass, and we're wanting to see what the secondary projectiles off the glass will do to other people in the vehicle or in the area around.
Every chance we get to shoot through something new, whether it be glass, or through concrete or cinder block or wood, that gives my instructors, that much more knowledge on exactly what's going to happen when they shoot through similar material, while they're deployed. And that's the whole point, is to understand, for their knowledge, what's going to happen after they pull that trigger.
All right, let's go down range, take a look, clear your weapon.
It doesn't look like the glass is going to, throw that much effect into it, though.
Not at this range.
With this glass,
yeah.
Within windshield.
Yeah, like if this was your head here, the pieces that would have penetrated all the way through your skin are these little holes, with the bullet being right here. All right, hey, for this next one, same distance behind the targets. Now we're going to cant them at a 45-degree angle as best we can. So it's like we're engaging a target. We're sitting in a building, a target's driving down the road, and we're engaging it like this. With this angle, when the round penetrates the glass, it's going to kind of hit it almost more at the side, so it's going to have a chance to deflect the bullet more. So we'd like to see the difference of the point of impact once it reaches through the glass. We're noticing at this 45-degree angle that round is mushrooming once it hits that glass, which is producing a larger hole on the cardboard or in your target. This data is pretty realistic for the engagements that we're doing. If we do got to engage through vehicles, which there's plenty of in Iraq, Afghanistan.
We do it a lot in combat and things like that, but actually, see the true effects of it. And that was the purpose of it. And also, it's a good thing, too, because we collected all the data and we kept, the targets and the glass that we used. So when the students come through and they ask about it, like, hey, not only are we going to tell you about it, we can show you.
While eliminating the driver is a sound tactic for stopping a vehicle, some circumstances dictate that the better tactical decision may be to destroy the vehicle's engine as opposed to the person driving it.
The biggest threat at a vehicle checkpoint is a VBIED. So if a guy looks like he's on the gas and he's not slowing down, you can take out that engine block, disable the vehicle, and hopefully it blows up where there's nobody around.
One weapon system that is devastating on vehicles and is a staple of many vehicle checkpoints is the legendary Barrett M107.
The 50 cal has increased the sniper's capability almost 3 to 4 times the normal distance that he can engage a target.
Unlike the bolt guns that the military uses for sniping, it's a semi-automatic rifle. You can lay down very devastating fire in very quick succession. It's very effective at immobilizing vehicles and reducing hard targets.
I know that when we were in Afghanistan, our typical engagements in Afghanistan going mountaintop to mountaintop was, in excess of 1,000 yards. So you definitely want a weapon system that'll reach out there and touch somebody.
To make the weapon even more lethal, the sniper has many different types of ammunition available that can be used depending on the type of target. The most versatile and destructive is the API, or armor-piercing incendiary round.
What this round does is when it hits the target, it explodes, and then the round goes on into the target. So when you actually hit the target with this round, you'll see a flash on the target where the incendiary part goes off. If you want to disable a vehicle, shooting in the motor, you're going to tear it up. It's going to stop it cold.
While an incredibly effective weapon, the 50 does have its drawbacks.
The Barrett weighs 28.9 pounds. Unloaded, when you load it up, it gets upwards of 30 to 33 pounds. So it's pretty heavy.
To climb up the side of a mountain in Afghanistan with that 107 plus, 3 or 4 days worth of gear in your ruck really takes a toll on the sniper, especially wearing body armor and all that other kind of stuff. I've known guys that weighed 120 pounds and their rucks alone were 150.
It is big and bulky. The ammo is ridiculous. It puts off a huge signature, which jeopardizes a sniper.
Once you pull that trigger, you now have the potential of becoming a target yourself.
Despite its drawbacks, the M107 is a devastating weapon system that has proven its value at not only destroying vehicle targets, but also eliminating personnel at ranges beyond the capabilities of the M24. This need to eliminate the enemy beyond 1,000 meters has prompted the desire to enhance the M24's capabilities by simply changing the barrel to accommodate a larger round and replacing the stock with a state-of-the-art chassis system.
In the Army now, it's got a solicitation out to upgrade all their M24s to a 300 Win Mag. Increases your lethality to probably 1,200 meters now. It's definitely a game changer. This is a TACMOD sniper chassis system. It's magazine fed, adapts to all your night vision, your lasers, anything you want to use. Takes AR pistol grip and any AR buttstock, so now it feels more like your normal AR, what the soldier's used to on the battlefield. Not as fast as a semi-auto, but right there with it.
No matter what new weapon systems the Army brings to bear for the modern sniper, one thing is certain: the trained sniper will push its limits of lethality. Coming up on Modern Sniper Army, pulling it all together in one final complete mission.
They'll sneak into their position without being detected, and then they'll engage key personnel that we know are terrorists.
Worst case scenario would be somebody losing their life because they didn't follow any instructions that we gave out to them.
Many of these Army Sniper School students will be heading to combat shortly after finishing the course, and the best pre-deployment training they can get is a complete mission simulation. For these Sniper School students, their next 12 hours will play out just like a live combat mission. It is the last chance to sharpen their skills before heading into theater.
The advantage of the sniper is that when you put them into position, you've got a thinking human being out there who can observe and report and then take appropriate action if necessary.
All right, this is your guys' operation order for tonight's urban operation.
The students are split into 6-man units representing a typical combat sniper team. Their mission is to plan a successful insertion and stalk to an effective overwatch position of an enemy stronghold. They have been given the identity of an insurgent leader and must eliminate him if the chance presents itself before the team extraction at dawn.
Sniper teams will utilize vehicular insertion. Teams will then infiltrate on foot to their high designated by hire.
They're just going to start off with them planning. They're going to receive a mission planning folder with the hires, mission, op order, and they're going to go ahead and plan everything. The insertion, infill, exfil, everything like that. They're going to have certain things they're going to be looking for, like high-value targets, like key personnel that we know are terrorists and that they can engage. And they'll sneak into their position, and they'll set up in their position without being detected, and then they'll engage or report anything they see. All right. Go ahead and start planning.
He's gonna be number 2 because he's got the radio. He has all the information that he needs to continue on the mission. And the number 3 man is gonna be spotter, rifleman.
The plan is to use 5 sniper teams to take positions in the suspected area of a high-value target. By increasing the number of sniper teams, it raises the possibility that one will have a clear shot, and also allows other teams to support one another should they be compromised. It's a new tactic that is proven effective in combat and represents a mission these students will likely face in theater. Almost as important as the plan, The team leader's equipment selection can be the difference between a successful sniper mission and a failure.
Yep. I'm going to have the 110, same thing, 26 sandstock, 6 AA batteries, screen, 5 cord, 100 mile an hour tape. I got scissors, and I got a GPS.
He's going to base his decisions off what the area of operations is like. If it's really hostile, you know, like when I first got there, it was somewhat hostile. So I had the M24, had an SR-25, which is the predecessor to this rifle here, an M107. We also had a saw gunner. 2 men carried a 203 gun, and everybody but the saw gunner carried an M4 as well.
That's okay. It should take no more than 30 minutes for us to set up.
Yeah.
All right. Hopefully, all goes well.
The team has selected an insertion point likely to provide the least possibility for enemy detection. They must navigate stealthily to get into a safe position to monitor their predetermined surveillance point, hoping for a shot at the high-value target.
Big thing what we want them to do is just have something to report to the TOC. So we can go out here and do a lap around the area that they're observing and just see who's awake, you know, who's sleeping.
Once in position, the instructors will search for the teams to analyze their hide sites and give them valuable advice on how to improve their tactics.
Well, I tracked the team, saw them turn left, walked down that way a little ways, started going up a hill, and I lost their tracks. I know they were close, dude. Yeah. I just wanted to yell out, "Where are you?" You know?
You got to stay focused regardless. If you don't, you can be compromised. You can lose your train of thought. You're falling asleep. Just anything could happen when you're not focused. But when you're focused, you're ready for everything. You're ready for anything that comes at you.
They have an HVT, a priority target that they have to take, which is not me. So we'll see if anybody gets me confused with their HVT.
You know your HVT's going, right?
Is he gone?
Yeah, he's going. That car that rolled out, that was him.
That was him?
Yeah.
I thought that was him.
He's going.
That was him that rolled out.
Yeah,
as soon as you guys called up, I called you on that vehicle leaving, and you were like, "Hey, it's a black Jeep," and all I saw was round headlights make the turn, and I was like, "Yeah."
Do you know where the other team's at located around the compound?
No.
Okay.
No, I just know where my team's at.
You want to make sure that when you do stuff like this, even in training, you know, if you've got multiple teams observing one site, make sure that you've got comms with them. If the other team's on the other side, they could have taken the shot that you guys did and just observe the report right here.
Okay.
None of the sniper teams successfully engaged the high-value target, and with sunrise approaching, they must complete the final phase of their mission and exfiltrate to the extraction point. Their mission objective was failed, but many valuable lessons were learned. The next time they will be in a hide will likely be in a combat zone, so the knowledge passed down from the instructors is invaluable. Sniper missions only rarely involve firing a shot, but when they do, their fire is some of the most effective on the battlefield. And while some believe these men only take lives, Army snipers serve one of the highest purposes on the battlefield. With each enemy sniper they eliminate, with each IED emplacer they reduce, and for every vehicle-borne IED they stop, snipers are protecting their fellow soldiers on the battlefield.
And we're out there to save lives, not take lives. So if we can go out there and keep our buddies safe, that's what we want to do.
He's your real-time eyes on target. He's the person that's watching what's happening before the battle.
We'd be observing where they're going to be going a couple blocks down. Like, there's an IED at this intersection. We just saved probably 4 or 5 guys by finding that IED because they were about to get blown up.
You try and impart as much knowledge as you can on these guys before they deploy, because we don't want to see any of them fail. We don't want to see any of them, the worst case scenario would be somebody losing their life because they didn't follow any instructions that we gave out to them.
Well, the future of the sniper is almost guaranteed, to be honest with you. Because at the end of the day, we're all humans, and if we've got to kill innocents just to get one bad guy, that doesn't sit well with us.
Like every branch of the U.S. Armed Forces, the role of the Army sniper is changing in ways his predecessors could have only dreamed of. Yet one thing remains the same.
There is no weapon system, there is no warrior that is more precise than a U.S. sniper.